Good evening, everyone. I hope that everybody has had a wonderful week. Hopefully, yours was better than mine. I had to take 2 days off work this week because I just was not feeling well at all. Wednesday was the worst. Yesterday was, I just plain hadn't had enough rest. And so I decided to take another day. The physical that I had this morning went very well. So that was good. Anyway, I wanted to come on with another. This is not going to be necessarily a review as much as I'm going to talk about my personal experiences so far with a device that I got recently. I am beginning to figure out how to work it, but I know I still have a ways to go. I promised Adventures in Blind Videography that I would do this. I told him he was going to love it, and I think he will love it. Now, the way that I use this as a blind person is probably way different from most people's uses of it. So, what device am I talking about? I am talking about the DJI Mobile Osmo 7P. P stands for Pro. Smartphone gimbal. Now, I'm holding my phone right now. I'm not using the gimbal. For people who can see, I don't even have the gimbal in front of me. And the reason is because I don't feel that this is something that I feel that this needs to be explained rather than demonstrated, because it's better just being explained. So first of all, what is a gimbal? A gimbal is a stabilizer for cameras, and in this case, smartphones. And this one is a 3-axis gimbal. It can pan. It can pan, tilt, and rotate. I think is what the three axes are. And what is so cool about this gimbal is the subject tracking capabilities of the gimbal. And that's mainly why I use it. What do you mean subject tracking? Basically, it will track something and follow it around. Now, there is an Osmo 7, and then there's an Osmo 7P. The difference between the 7 and the 7P is it has to do with the device, which I will get to explaining in just a moment. And this is what makes it. This is why I recommend that blind people who want to try this get the 7P instead of the 7. You can get this particular thing with the 7, but it's going to cost more. And honestly, I think you should just get the 7P to have it included. The Mobile 7 is $75. The 7P, I think, I got it for $150, I think, at Best Buy, or maybe it was $175. So how does it work? So the gimbal is, imagine a pole with a big arm on top of it that can move around in different ways. And this gimbal, now it has a built-in tripod on the bottom that you grab the 3 legs and pull them out and push them back in, or you can extend the gimbal so that it becomes like a little selfie stick. It extends, I think, a foot longer or something like that, maybe 2. I don't know the exact length. And the gimbal is very compact and very portable. It folds into itself. The arm folds on the top, and it clicks in and it locks in. So that is a cool thing about it. It charges via USB-C. You will need to provide your own cables. You will need to provide your own cables. So when you, now, I want to say something here about this right up front. If you're going to use this, you need to get ready for an experience when you first start, okay? You need to get ready for an experience that will absolutely have you tearing your hair out if you're blind. And that is the DJI Mimo app, M-I-M-O app, which you need to activate the gimbal. Now, after you get the gimbal activated, you don't really need this anymore unless you want to keep updating the firmware. So how do you put the phone onto the gimbal? Well, there is a big clamp that comes with the gimbal. And the phone only goes in one way. It's very obvious. You put it, you kind of center your phone with it so that your camera, if you're using the back camera, is not touching the mount, is not touching the clamp. So I would kind of position it with about a foot to spare, maybe a little bit less than a foot between it and the camera. There is a slot on the left-hand side of the clamp. That's the proper orientation for what a fellow vlogger referred to as the magic box, which I think is a very accurate description of the accessory that sets the 7P apart from the 7 that it comes with it. And this particular little magic box is the secret to blind people using this device. But you don't do that first. You don't hook up the little box first. You have to activate the gimbal. You have to update the firmware. So what you're going to do is you line up, you put the phone on the clamp. Now, to DJI's credit, they made the contacts tactile between the phone and the gimbal. In fact, the clamp has what feels like a braille letter G on the bottom of it. Those are your contacts, and that is the part that needs to line up with the gimbal. Now, the gimbal magnet itself is smooth. You have to kind of keep playing with it, but you're going to know when you've got it on there right, because you'll feel the thing move beneath you. You'll feel the arm move beneath your hands as it tries to orient the phone. And one of the few good things that comes out of the Mimo app is that when you open it, if you're trying to move the joystick around and whatever, and you notice that nothing's happening, you can open the app and it'll tell you if the phone is even attached properly. And then you can adjust it from there. It is a powerful, powerful magnet. When you get this thing clamped on there, it isn't going anywhere. It isn't going anywhere, and it is under the gimbal's control. So the button layout is very simple. So on the front you have a little display screen, and then you have a joystick, a 4-way joystick that you can move the phone around on. You can move the gimbal arm around to position the phone exactly the way you want it with manual control. To the right of it are 3 buttons. The top is power. The middle is, I think, a record button. And the one below that, I think, is switch cameras. Now, I say think because the only button that I really care about is the power button, because I can use, because if you have the little box hooked up, you can use it with other apps, including the native camera app on your phone and stuff like that, which I'll get to in a second. But for the purposes of when you get the gimbal straight out of the box, the first thing they want you to do is charge it up. And you need to do that, okay? You need to charge it up. You will download the DJI Mimo app, the MIMO app, and this is where you are really going to struggle if you are blind. Now, it does work for those of you that are Android users, this does work with Android. Your experience may be different. The way it was for me in iOS, I had to use screen recognition with voiceover, and even then it didn't work. And when you have AI tracking, when AI tracking is enabled, which it is by default, the gimbal will resist you trying to touch your phone. Like when I first was getting it set up, it kept going like it would vibrate and sway so that it would like try to jerk the phone out of my hand. Now, the way that you get around that, on the back there is a multifunction trigger. Yes, it is almost exactly like a firearm trigger, okay? And if you press it once, it turns AI tracking on and off. You press it twice, and I believe that recenters the gimbal. There's another one 3 times. I forget. You know, there's most of this you're not going to really care about because the DJI Mimo app is not what you're going to use with this. But the gimbal is designed to really work in tandem with the Mimo app, and the hardware buttons and stuff like that will do so accordingly. Now, I will also say that you will know when the gimbal is turned on and off because it beeps. It has audible beeps, which I really appreciate. That is one thing that is really good. It beeps once for off, and it beeps once for on and twice for off. Sorry, that's what I meant to say. Once for on and twice for off. So the first thing you need to do is unfortunately you have to go through this. Okay, there isn't any way around it. You can't have the real fun until after you've got this set up. So the first thing you have to do is you have to open the Mimo app, and you have to put the phone on the clamp. And again, this is by trial and error, basically, is what it is when you do it the first couple of times. It's not, I have a hard time, I would have a hard time explaining it. Just look for the Braille G on the bottom of it and try to align the Braille G with the magnets until you feel the gimbal respond to you. You know, that's the best way to do it. And once you have that done, your phone should automatically detect a Bluetooth device and get a pairing request, and you will pair it. And you think, okay, that's over. Well, no, you got to update the firmware. And I cannot tell you, it took me about probably 40 minutes to update the firmware on this thing. And that is not an exaggeration, because this app is so badly designed and barely works with voiceover that, and also the gimbal being resistant to me touching the phone because I had subject tracking turned on, which I figured out how to turn that off and was able to do it. But and you keep your phone connected to, you keep your phone on the gimbal while it updates the firmware. And then after that, if you don't, you don't have to use the DJI Mimo app anymore if you don't want to. So what is the so-called magic box? Well, it's called the multifunction module. It is a little bitty rectangular box, and the slot that is on the side of the clamp is how the box plugs into the clamp. And it's so cool because the box draws its power through its connection to the clamp. It doesn't need a battery or it doesn't need anything like that. It's so neat. And what's nice about it is that it is magnetic, but it also has contacts that lock into the clamp. So you have to push a release button on the side of the module before you pull it out, because it's designed to stay there. So the multifunction module is the secret to a blind content creator's use of this device, because it will give you the subject tracking. Its main thing is, for us, is that it will give you the subject tracking in any camera app. Now, the subject tracking, what it will do is it will, the gimbal will basically follow you around. So like if you're moving around a room or something like that, the gimbal will follow you. I was experimenting when the colleague that I work with was not in on Tuesday, and I experimented with the gimbal. I put my hands on it while I was moving around, and it literally does follow you. It literally does track you. Now, The multifunction module also works with gesture-based controls. So you show there's a little camera, tracking camera, that is on the multifunction module. Now, that is not what the phone will use to record video. That camera is used exclusively for tracking. And if you show your palm to it, it will track you. If you manipulate your hands and make certain signs, it will record, it will stop, it will whatever. Now, I don't care about the gesture control, okay, because I'm doing the one other thing that the module also includes is what's called a fill light. So if you're in a low light situation, you can push this and it will cycle between 4 brightness modes and then eventually get turned off. And I forgot to mention on the gimbal, there is also a wheel on the other side of the gimbal that it's zoom in and out. If you push in on it, it switches to focus, and you can focus in and out. So I think it's called focus. So it's got 2 different modes. I forgot to mention that. I'm sorry. So with the multifunction box, it has the fill light that can help you with that. But it also, if you have a DJI mini mic, which I have a Rode Wireless Pro system. I'm not going to get a DJI. I'm not going to get a DJI mic, even though the mini receiver and transmitter is compatible with my gimbal. I'm not going to get it because I already have a wireless microphone system, and I don't want to have to deal with that freaking Mimo app any more than I have to. So, I'm happy with my Rode system, and you'll hear that on the channel pretty soon. You'll hear that on the channel soon. You'll hear my Rode system. But that is the secret to a blind person using this is the multifunction module. And that's why I recommend the Osmo 7P, because the module does not cost extra, and it comes with it. So that's why I get it. Now, the gimbal can rotate your phone between portrait and landscape. So if you want to do like horizontal shots or vertical shots or whatever, you can. There are different modes that the gimbal has. There's first person view. There's tilt, pan, follow, which is what it's set to by default. And I think there's a couple of others. I have it set on tilt, pan, follow, and that's what the default setting will be. I did accidentally put it on FPV when I was first setting it up, but it is a bear to set up. I mean, once you get it working and you get that multifunction module working, it is a wonderful, wonderful device. I mean, it really is a fabulous device. I am going to be using this in a lot of videos from now on. I'm gonna have the gimbal. I'm going to have the phone on the gimbal, and I'm going to be doing stuff with it. That way I don't have to sit there and hold my phone at an angle and hope that I'm getting, my face in the frame and whatever, because the gimbal will do the subject tracking. It will do it for me. Now, when would you want to use this? Well, obviously, if you're making videos of yourself, it's really good for that. Now, the gimbal it has a photo mode. It can also take pictures as well. But I'm mainly using it it can use your phone to take pictures, but I'm using it to make video. When you want to make videos of yourself doing stuff, that's the best case scenario for using this. One idea that I had and discarded very quickly was, I don't know if any of you are familiar with the tradition that takes place every year at the Kentucky Music Educators Association convention, where the Kentucky All-State Choir, which they take over the Hyatt Regency in downtown Louisville, and you can look this up on YouTube because there's a ton of videos. The hotel, I think, is 18 stories, and there's like 600 high school students in grades 10 to 12, and the atrium it's an atrium with balconies on every floor. So like the lobby, the lobby is like, there's balconies on every floor, and the a lobby is basically a giant atrium. And what they do every night of that conference is, it is completely organic. No adults start it. Nobody does anything. The kids go out onto the balconies on their different floors, and there's all 18 floors are used. And they sing the national anthem at 11 p.m. every night. And let me tell you, as a musician, even though I'm an organist, I'm not a vocalist. I'm freaking floored, not only at the amount of talent that is obviously there, but also at the freaking acoustics of that atrium. Like, there's something about it that is just, it is amazing. Videos, I don't think, do it justice, although they come pretty dang close. I thought about getting a room at that hotel during one of the nights to take the gimbal, go out and join the choir kids on the balcony and try to record it. The problem is, the gimbal subject tracking would go ballistic. Like, it wouldn't know who to track, and I would need sighted assistance to manually operate the joystick. So I wouldn't do it then. I also had fantasized about taking the Hover Air up with its new indoor follow mode next year if I did that, but that would be incredibly disrespectful to all of the kids because of how loud that drone is. If any of y'all remember how loud that drone is, it would reverberate around that atrium, and it would sound really off. And while I doubt that the highly trained choir kids would get thrown off, I do think that it would be really rude to use it, even its indoor mode, the new indoor mode that came out with the most recent firmware update. It wouldn't be a good idea. So the main use for this gimbal is to make videos of yourself. And I mean, you could have it track someone else. If you wanted to video someone else doing something, you could track it. But if you were using the multifunction module, they would have to put their palm in front of the camera so that the gimbal would focus on them. Now, if I am giving incorrect information, please say so. This is just what my experiences have been, and if there's any of the sighted people that subscribe to this channel that can comment on things about it that maybe I don't know about or anything like that, then please feel free to say something. Just keep comments respectful. This is just an overview of what my experiences have been with this thing. So I'm going to start using it in the next couple of weeks. You're going to start seeing a lot of the videos that I will be making will feature the gimbal. And the Ray-Ban smart glasses, yeah, I may use them to do some point of view videos, but if I'm doing something like this, then I'm going to have the gimbal. And I'm also going to do live streaming. I'm going to try going live with the gimbal probably once here, but mainly on Facebook and or Instagram. I'm going to try going live on one of those two platforms. I may go live here too. Not sure. I may go live here too. Now, what I want to eventually do is I want to get my Rode Wireless Pro system, which has to be, the receiver has to be hooked up to the phone's USB-C port. I want to get my Rode system linked up so that I can make videos with not only the gimbal, but also to wear a wireless microphone so I don't have to keep sitting in front of it all the time, and the camera can follow me. I also have another microphone that I am trying to get working called an Audigo, and it had some serious problems, but the most recent version of its app became more accessible. But that can't go live. That's a totally different system. It's a walled garden. You can't use it with except in its own app. It's a walled garden. But I may make videos using the Audigo. But so anyway, but the main focus right now is get this gimbal up and running. Get it up and running. And like I said, you will have a time using the DJI Mimo app. But thankfully, you only have to do it once. You only have to do it once to connect the device, to bind it, and stuff like that. That is the only time when you will actually need to do it. It is also best to have the Mimo app open when you're attaching the phone to the gimbal, just to make sure that setup goes through, because if it tells you that the phone is not attached properly, then you can kind of play with it until that text goes away, and then you've done it right. But make sure that if you're using iOS, make sure that you have screen recognition turned on. Make sure that you have and just be patient. That's all I can tell you. Be patient with it. I know some blind people have expressed interest in getting DJI action cameras. All I got to tell you is, I wish you nothing but the best in dealing with that freaking app. I mean, good luck to you. The people that I know that are interested, I know that they will put their minds to it, and they will figure out a way around it. And I wish them the best, but for me, it is enough that I have to use that gimbal. Oh gosh, I am happy with my GoPro as far as action cameras. And it has some quirks, but I wouldn't trade GoPro for any other camera. I really wouldn't. Because GoPro I have mastered, and I have things set the way I want them. I do need to repair it with my new phone, which I will take care of probably this weekend. Because maybe going to Malibu Jack's Louisville next week to get try and get some POV of their Twist and Shout roller coaster. So there may be another point of view video coming next week. Also, my friend and I have been talking about what we want our big summer trip to be in June. We don't know where we're going to go yet. We've tossed around Eastern Pennsylvania, New York City, and New Jersey. We've also tossed around the idea of starting at Cedar Point in Ohio and going to Waldameer in Erie, Pennsylvania, and then going up to a few places in New York State. Darien Lake, Seabreeze, and Niagara Amusement Park, which used to be called Martin's Fantasy Island. So we're not sure what we're going to do. We're still kind of throwing ideas around. I was going to go to American Coaster Enthusiasts, the coaster club I'm in. I was going to go to ACE's Spring Con next month at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, and King's Dominion, but then I saw the itinerary and decided that it really wasn't worth it. And that is not a criticism of the event planners or anything like that. I just felt that I wasn't going to be given enough time to really do the things I wanted to do. So, so I decided ultimately not to do that. But anyway, so not too much going on personally. I know I got a comment last week. Amanda was asking how I'm doing with the implant. I'll just briefly say that things are beginning to sound clearer. The robotic sound is getting less, but it's still there. I know I've got a long ways to go. I know I've got a ways to go with this. So I just have to hang in there. That's pretty much all I had to do. And by the way, I got a really nice comment about my lighting situation. Um, I I don't mean to do videos at night, but it's just that oftentimes that's when I'm the most awake is at night because I don't have a natural 24-hour sleep cycle because I can't tell light from dark. So sometimes I'm more awake at night to do videos. Now, to be fair, now during the work week, I try to minimize that as much as possible. That's why a lot of times you don't see video of me during the week. Now, when I was at that Extended Stay America back in October, those of you that know that saga, that was a little bit more manageable as far as being able to tell, being able to regulate my schedule a little bit more because I was actually sleeping. I was actually getting fairly good night's sleep. There was only one night during that entire week that I didn't sleep well, and it was a really, I needed that. But I'm just, like I said, that guy is, they evicted him, and I want to thank everybody who gave me so much support during that time period. I'm very grateful that most people understood, what I was dealing with. I did get somebody, he wasn't being negative, but I did get somebody who said, do you have any idea how much housing is right now? And whatever. And he said, some people may not be able to, may just can't use headphones when they play tunes. And I get that. And he was respectful about it. So I'm not angry at him, but because he called it a get off my lawn type video. And part of it, I hate to say it, kind of was because I was mad. And I was not the only one. The manager was mad. Everybody in this building was mad. It was just, there was a lot of anger at that time. And it was very, I can see why he called it a get off my lawn video. I can see that. And while it was not my main intent, I understand why he mentioned it, why he said that. But, that problem has been resolved. It has been resolved since the end of January. It's been resolved since the end of January. And like I said, we've got a guy up there now who is very quiet and very, I hear him walking around. That's all I hear, which I don't have a problem with. And I told the manager, I said, this is so much better. Because she was asking me how I was doing. And I will say that I am still on a waiting list to move out of this complex, but that is for other reasons. That is not because of what happened last year. So, yeah, it's for a completely different reason. So I'm not going to, I won't go into that because that's very personal. But anyway, I realized that this particular video probably left you with more questions than answers. I am learning this device as I go. Okay, I am trying to. What I wanted to do was tell everybody about what my initial experiences have been with this device, with the Osmo 7P. It is available at Best Buy. For anybody that's interested, Best Buy, Amazon, even Sweetwater Sound. Those of you that use Sweetwater, you can buy this from Sweetwater. I went through Best Buy for various reasons. I went through Best Buy. But it was mainly so that I could get it faster and have a place to return it to if I didn't like it. So, anyway, so I hope that everybody enjoyed this. Again, thank you for watching. If you like this video, feel free to subscribe and click notifications so that you don't miss anything. And I will not be posting any videos next week. So I will say that I hope that everybody who observes it, both Eastern Orthodox and Western Christians, because we're all celebrating it at the same time this year. I hope that you have a blessed Holy Week and a blessed and happy Pascha or Easter. So I hope that everybody has a wonderful Easter. So I will be back probably the week after next, and that will probably be the first video that features the gimbal. So where the phone will be on the gimbal as I'm recording. So anyway, until then, well, and there'll be the point of view video from Malibu Jack's, which may go up in the early part of next week. We're going to try to go before Thursday next week, either Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. If we go at all, we may wait till the week after next. I'm not sure. But that will be done with the GoPro. And there may also be a possibility of drone footage from the bumper cars. I'm going to see if they'll let me take the Hover Air with its indoor follow mode around while I'm riding the bumper cars and have it follow me around. So we'll see how that goes. If not, it'll just be either GoPro or maybe even the Meta Ray-Bans. So anyhow, thanks for watching, everybody, and I will talk to y'all later.